Hello, algebra students. Welcome to Edwards Middle School algebra classes. This is actually a welcome to high school. This applies to my first period honors class and my 3 second, 7th, and 8th period level 2 algebra classes. You are all in this class for high school credit. I promise you this is going to be the most challenging math class you've taken so far. You need to take it serious right from day one. All right, this little video is just going over a few of the things from the summer package you had. I'll post a video tonight and tomorrow night, and then we'll have the quiz the next day. But anyway, here we go. Let's get down to the video. Now, if you're wondering, you should have your notebooks out. You should be taking notes. I'm not going to spend too much time on stuff because I expect you to already know this, but just in case there's a gap in your learning. Now, of course, if you have a question, write it down. You can ask me about it in class tomorrow. I know some of you are going to take a little while to warm up to this style of teaching, but trust me, once you do, you're going to like it better than the old way. All right, well, the first section talked about finding the next 3 terms. Now, just between you and me, this is way too easy. It's a joke. You should be almost insulted that I'm asking you to find the next 3 terms. It's too easy. 5th and 6th graders could do it. So I'm going to point out some of them that aren't so easy, but I'm also going to mention that we're not going to find the next 3 terms in sequences. We're going to be able to write formulas that allow us to tell us any term in the sequence without writing them all down. For example, if I gave you the number, say 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13, okay? You guys are so smart. I mean, you could say, well, I think 16 is the next one, and 19 and 22. But what good does that do you? What if I need to know the 200th term? I don't want to write out all the way to 199. In fact, I know that they're all going up by 3, right? You see that? 3. So I know the formula is going to have a 3n in it. And don't worry, this isn't a lesson. This is just kind of sidebar. You'll see I do that a lot. Then I'm going to do 3 times 1 and get 3. And I'm only supposed to be at 1. So when I put 1 in, I get 3, but that's 2 too many. So I need to take 2 away, and I get back to 1. When I put the second term in, 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. Ooh, look at that. I think my formula is 3n minus 2. So therefore, if I wanted to know the 200th term, I would go 3 times 200, which is 600, and then take away 2, and that's 598. Okay, the 200th term in this sequence of numbers is 598. I don't know about you, but I think that is way more useful than, okay, tell me the next 3 terms. All right, but we're not ready for that yet. That's okay. You're going to feel so smart when we learn how to do that. It's very simple. But let's talk about these patterns. A appeared on your summer packet, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. You should memorize this pattern. These are squared numbers. Yeah, this is 1 squared, this is 2 squared, this is 3 squared, this is 4 squared. Oh my goodness, did I write 3 cubed? 4 squared, and this is 5 squared. These are squared numbers. So of course, the next term would be 6 squared, or better yet, 36. Then you'd have 7 squared, which would be 49, and 8 squared, which is 64. Okay, now it's important. You see this? It is assumed that you already know. Where's my highlighter? It's been a while since I did a recording, pardon me. This is exponential form. You should know this. It's not okay to go 14. No, absolutely not. This means 7 times 7. All right? If I had 7 to the 5th power, that would be 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. That's what it means. It means there are 5 7s being multiplied together. Okay? Now, those would be the next 3 terms, 36, 49, 64. Another pattern that you may not be quite as familiar with, these are the cubes. This is 1 cubed, this is 2 cubed, 3 cubed, 4 cubed, and 5 cubed. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Sorry, I was thinking 6 because so many students think it's 6, but it's not. 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3, 27. 4 times 4 is 16. And 16 times 4, a lot of you do this the hard way. You're going to do this long multiplication. just double 16 to get 32, and then double that answer to get 64. When you double a number and then double it again, it's the same as multiplying by 4. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. And if I had 5 quarters, how much money would I have? I'd have 125 pennies. 125. There you go. So those are the cubes. So I would need 6 cubed, 7 cubed, and 8 cubed. Now for some of these I can do some fancy little trickery because I have number sense and I've practiced really hard. Some of them I'm going to have to do the old-fashioned way because I don't have a little trick. I don't have that much number sense. All right, 36. All right, times 6. Well, if I triple 36, I'm going to get 108. And if I double 108, I'm going to get 216. How did I do that? Well, I multiplied right here. I multiplied one number first times 3. I did it in my head. I got 108. Then I took that answer and I doubled it. Hey, if I multiply by 3, then multiply by 2, what have I multiplied by? 6. Try it. Try it with something easy. Do 5 times 6. You all know it's 30, right? Triple the 5, 15. Double that answer, 30. You get the same answer every time. So there's 6 cubed is 216. So that's the next number in the sequence. All right, let's try 7 cubed. Well, I know 7 times 7 is 49 times 7. I don't have a really cool trick for that one, so I'm going to go ahead and go, well, that's 63. That's 28, and 6 would be 34, 343. So we've got 216, and we've got 343. Okay, now 8 times 8 is 64. Now, instead of multiplying by 8, I'm going to double it and get 128. I'm going to double that answer and get 256. And then I'm going to double that answer, and I'm going to get 512. And there you go. That is 8 cubed. Okay, again, I'm just using that same trick I've been using all along. 8 is the same as 2 times 2 times 2. So I doubled the 64, I doubled the answer, and then I doubled that answer, and I got 512. So there are the next 3 terms. All right, something else you need to know are the quadrants and their points. I know some of you are going to have an attitude, oh, I don't need to know this, it's stupid. Well, that's fine. You can have that attitude and you will fail. And you think I'm kidding, but I am not. You will not do well if you don't master some of these basics. All right, the quadrants, very important. They start here in the upper right-hand corner. This is the first quadrant. And you have a positive x when you are here and a positive y. Okay? Then the second quadrant, you have a negative x and a positive y. The third quadrant is down here, the lower left corner, and here you have a negative x and a negative y. And the fourth quadrant is here, and that is a positive x and a negative y. If you're wondering, well, remember the origin is here, and the coordinates of the origin are 0, 0. When I move to the right of 0, 0, I get positives. When I move to the left of 0, 0, I get the negatives. When I move above, I get positives. When I move below, I get negatives. All right? Now, everybody in the world does it the same way. They start here. They may not use the word 1. Okay? Spanish, it would be uno. Okay? French, it's un. All right? German might be ein. I'm not sure. Japanese, maybe ishi. All right? Anyway, they start in this quadrant, and then they go around counterclockwise, okay, opposite the hands of the way a clock moves. So, there are your quadrants. Now, point A, what are its coordinates? Well, we always do x before y, because x comes first in the alphabet. Okay, well, some of you will try to get the quadrants back, or the coordinates backwards, and I will say, what's the matter? Don't you know your alphabet? X before y. So how far do I move in the x direction? Well, it looks like I'm moving 2. Okay, and I moved to positive 2. So my x coordinate is 2. My y coordinate appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Yep, 6, 2, 6. So point A is located at the coordinates 2, 6. Point B, looks like I went 10 in the negative x direction, so negative 10. Then I went up 1, so negative 10, 1. This should be a 100% review. I should not be doing anything new here. All right, point C is at negative 3, negative 5. Well, I'm going to plot that point. So I'm going to start at the origin. I'm always going to go in the x direction first. I'm going to go 3 in the negative direction. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so there is point C right there. Point D says to go 2 in the x direction. 1, 2. And then negative 4 in the y direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so there is point D. Again, this should be 100% review. Okay. Graphing using tables. Now we're going to learn other ways to graph that are faster and more efficient, but this is the basics. You have to know how to do this. Now, they probably had you last year put in 3 numbers, something like that. Okay, and then you're going to plug your numbers in and go 4 times the negative 1 minus 1. And you have to use your order of operations. Notice you won't hear me say this word. I'm going to write it down. You will not hear me say this word, okay? We are not going to use this word in my class because too many kids misunderstand it, and there are some teachers I know that do it wrong because of that word. We're not going to use it. We're going to call it the order of operations. So I have to multiply first. That's going to get me a negative 4. Then I have to subtract 1 from negative 4, and that's going to get me a negative 5. Okay, so the first point is going to be at negative 1, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. Okay, then I got to do the 0. So I'm going to put 4 times 0 minus 1. Well, that's easy because this turns to 0, and 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And so that's going to be right there. And then the last one is going to be 4 times 1 minus 1. Well, that should come out to be 3. And so we're going to go to 1, 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, we are not done because we haven't drawn our line. This is a linear equation. It's going to make a line. I've got to find my line here. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, back 1. Okay, now it's still not a line. And notice I didn't just draw it from point to point. I made this thing very long. In fact, can you tell me how long I made it? I made this line go on forever. And you will have to do that too. Your lines will have to go forever. How do I know it goes forever? Because there's arrowheads on the line. All right, let me make that thin and change the color. There we go. And there's my line going forever. Okay, how many points are on this line? If you said 3, you are absolutely incorrect. Okay, and we'll talk about that in class a little bit. Hopefully you know there's an infinite number of points on the line. All right, I think that's going to be the video for tonight. We're going to talk about order of operations and simplifying expressions and equations in the next video. So, with that, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.